Oh, you can tell I went through a transformation because my voice is so heroic and ready to take on the world as you hear the traffic. Honestly, from when I go outside, no one's staying at home. So, good. Break the rules. I appreciate that. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just having fun on screen, wanting to create. And it excited me to make this video, despite there being gigantic amount of traffic, all the people doing things. So if you feel like you need to be a good boy or girl and stay home because the big fat government told you that the world is really scary, well, no one's listening, so do what you want. And that's kind of why I want to get into is like just following that excitement, that passion, that thing that's in you in every moment. For me, recently, it was playing Zelda. I'm stuck at home. I love the Ocarina of Time, and I was like, F it, I'm playing this game. And it's been great. And I've been meditating, I've been writing, I've been having so much fun in isolation. And what inspired me to talk about this is I watched this video of Robert Downey Jr. and he was talking about like when you go to prison, they said if you go to prison and you don't make the time, or I forget the quote, but basically if you don't make the best of the time, then the time will do you. And I feel like in a weird way we're in like a quasi prison. Obviously real prison's much worse than this, and people are actually there for things they didn't do because they're black. So your life could be a lot worse than me sitting in your house getting Uber Eats to you in 30 minutes. Poor you. Anyway, but following that excitement while you're in your prison. If you're stuck in this thing, right, you're stuck in a box, then you might as well effing enjoy it, right? You're stuck in the box. You're stuck in it. Why not have fun with it, right? I know this summer, I know all festivals are canceled. All these things that I've done, which are super fun. I love dancing. Dancing is one of my highest excitements. But my inner calling was get into backpacking, like go on a Colorado trail, which I'm going to do in July. And I've only backpacked once like 5 years ago, right? Crazy to think let's go on this big gigantic trail that people are supposed to practice for. Whatever, it's my highest excitement. I'm not going to die. There's towns and people around. I'll be okay. I promise. It's much scarier in the real world than it is out in nature. And I follow that excitement. But how perfect is that excitement right now? There's nothing else to freaking do but go backpacking, right? There's no other adventures going on. Everything's canceled, right? Summer is canceled, folks. So you might as well, but you can still find something awesome in it. That's what I've learned. I always say this is weird, watching children. But if I always in a waiting room, you'd look at children. And children are most connected to source, so they know something, right? I love learning from different generations. I think things on the edges teach us the most. So children and old people, right? They're on the edges of existence, of this existence. We're in the middle. We're boring as hell. We can't teach anything. But when I watch the children in the waiting room, they're having so much fun. And they're in a waiting room at a doctor's office. So that just made me think about it. Like children, I love Bashar. I've been listening to his teachings, is that you make the best of the circumstances, right? If life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, is basically what it says. Basically, usually by your perspective. And your perspective can be like, I gotta wait in this waiting room. I have to wait for the doctor. This sucks. I'm gonna read this magazine that's gonna make me feel horrible about myself because it's gonna lower my self-esteem. Well, let me flip through this magazine that I really don't want to read so I can pretend and not be with myself or actually enjoy myself. I'll read this thing I don't want to read, right? That's what adults do. Then you have children, and they're like flying with everything. And now there's toys for children, right? But adults can go play with the children. They can do tons of things. All that excitement. You could listen to something on your iPad, right? That's super exciting. You could watch a Netflix show if that's your highest excitement. I don't know. You can play a game on your phone. Like, when I was a kid, I used to bring my Game Boy, and that would make things more fun that were freaking boring to me. But that was me making the best out of a situation, right? If you're in school, you daydream. You're like, I don't want to be here. This is the most boring, indoctrinating thing. This is just ridiculous. I barely learned anything this whole time I'm here about life. It's like they did that on purpose. It's basically just glorified indoctrinating daycare. But I'm just going to daydream about monsters and doing that thing I want to do, because you're just making the best of a situation, right? And we're stuck in this situation. I know some of you probably have no money, lost your job, probably that job you didn't want to go to anyway. But I know some people are struggling, and I do have compassion for that, sort of. Also, you're okay, right? People are making more off unemployment than they're going to their crappy jobs. No one's going to go back to work. It's going to be great. If I wanted a revolution, I would want everyone to not go to their crappy job all at once. Everyone just go, fuck that shit. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if we all just did that all at once, it'd be really funny. It would just be a comical day, right? Usually that's when workers can actually get more rights, when they're like, fuck it, I'm not doing what you say. But no one really tends to do that. And I'm to say I was working Instacarts, and supposedly I got COVID-19, even though I'm here just hanging out, playing Zelda. But I was delivering groceries. I didn't like that. I should have said F it. And when I did and just chilled, I've been so much happier. So by no means am I the perfection, right? I don't follow my highest excitement sometimes. Doing that, I did it for the money. I was getting a referral, and I did get the referral, and the money's nice. But I could have probably made more money following my high excitement, or at least been happier in that moment. So, I don't even know. This is a topsy-turvy thing. I guess it's just following the excitement, making the best of the situation you've been put in, whatever that is. Whatever that is. And your guidance, right? You have a future self that you can talk to at all times, connecting to their minds. You literally can go into your future self's mind. I just did that. I'm talking about that in public, but I just went, there's this book, oh man, it's like the Wise Men's, I'm forgetting the book, but they talk about how you can separate your mind, right? It's a storybook, but for some reason that resonated. It gave me permission to start separating my mind. Like I could have two minds. Like I could have a mind looking at this video, but also a mind that's looking in the house and feeling that energy. And then I could have a mind that's looking into the galactic energy, right? See, it's just fun to play with. You can separate your consciousness in different places, which supposedly is going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, right? You're kind of blending the spirit and the non-spirit. You're becoming a magical being like we all want to be. Jesus did it, supposedly. Seemed like a cool cat. I would hang out with him. But anyways, you can tap on your future self going through this mind channel. And by doing that, you can bring back that information. We so look into our past and what happened, and we want to go to the future, right? It'd be like, you ever played like I'm playing Zelda, and the Ocarina of Time, play that game. But when you play a video game, right, or anything, there's people that have played it before, right? So that's your future self. And you can look up walkthroughs from the game. And in the game, I did that a couple times. I was getting frustrated, and I was like, whatever, I'm going for a hint, right? You think I could remember what to do from when I was a kid. But I'm fine with one, that's cheating. Like that was like, there's this internal part, like I'm cheating. I'm like, wait, I'm making the experience more enjoyable. Like, who's testing me that I'm doing this right? It was this weird belief system, right? That's cheating to get information that helps me from the outside sources. Bizarre. Like I gotta do everything myself. Change that belief to, I'm gonna let everyone help me that wants to help me, and I'm gonna receive it. But by looking at that walkthrough, I'm looking at a future self who's already played the game, that's telling me what to do in the game to save me time, right? And we have that in ourselves. We have a future self we can tap into by tapping into them and feeling the energy or the information. Sometimes it's just energy. When I tapped in my future self, he was very, very loving, and he was also, the mind was actually very blank, which is sounds awesome, right? He was very much in the divine mind. So I'm taking that energy on, right? And I'm putting my mind in his mind, taking information, and then coming back. You're time traveling. You can do this. It's not that hard. Time is malleable. It's not happening, right? This moment, I didn't do Instacart, and then supposedly got COVID-19, then get quarantined. Like, it didn't happen in that order. Like, I might have got COVID-19 while working in Instacart, then I rested for a little bit, it went away, but then also sometimes I go back to that reality by remembering it, and then I also can go to the future where everything's okay. Like, it's not happening. Like, days don't happen that way. It's not that simple. It appears that way, like the Truman Show. We were like the Truman Show where there's like the thing above you, and then it's like a world that's basically what you're in. You're in a simulation that you also not happening within that time. So you see it that way, like you would see a video game, but the video game wasn't created. If you ever watch a movie, the movie too, or the video game wasn't created in sequential order, right? Sometimes they film the ending and the beginning, right? And then you watch the movie and the thing, but really when it's happening, it's like... And you will start to feel this if you're watching this video. If you're crazy enough to actually stay with me for 11 minutes, you will understand that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even understand it. But I do at the same time, because I've experienced that feeling of timelessness. A lot of psychedelic experiences. I don't do drugs anymore, but if you want to do drugs and excites you to do drugs, they're awesome. But you experience time not happening, so time actually doesn't feel like, it feels different. Like, we might look at a measurement of time, but actually our feeling of time is more malleable. So trust your feeling of time for a little bit. See how that goes. You probably, if you don't have a job or you don't have a place to go, you have a chance to experience time being malleable because you don't really have a thing to go to. If you do, that might be great for you because you're not stuck, but also experience that. Like, try to play with it. I'm giving you permission to play with time being malleable and try to like go back and forth and see how it feels. Try to like transcend your mind to somewhere else. You're not going to go dissociate. People are like, it's just association. Like, you, by going into your future self, will make you more present because you will know the future is great, so you can relax. So actually tapping into your future self brings you into more presence. And not tapping into your future worries, tapping into the actual future. And that excites me. So that's really cool. What else excites me to talk about? Trees behind me are really great. I really like spring blooming. This is definitely a time where people are going to feel antsy because it's the time to start moving and they're not able to move and do stuff. But really take advantage of the time you have. Now, you could say playing Zelda isn't taking advantage of your time you have. I would say F you, but it might not be. But take time to look at your internal beliefs. Look into the, like, if you were stuck in prison, you would think about, like, what place do I have to be in when I get out to be the best person in the world, right? This is the same vibration we're in. Feel that and come out of it. Come through the portal, the COVID-19 opportunity portal, to come out the other side stronger. I don't like to think it's a crisis. I like to call it an opportunity portal for positive change. It's just my way of making meaning of it. Yes, I would rather... It's funny because when I think about it, I don't really want things to go back to normal. I don't. Like, I almost feel like this is an opportunity to not go back to the way it was, right? Like, it's an opportunity to, like, we can care about the ecosystem and see this as important and understand that us destroying the ecosystem causes viruses to spread, right? That because we don't have balance in our earth, nothing else can take the virus but us. We're eliminating the barriers, the boundaries of nature that keep things in, right? Like, you know, when you destroy wildlife around a city and then the bears will come down, like in mountain lions into the cities, and they'll start going through your garbage. Mountain towns in Colorado understand this because they don't have enough wildlife anymore to go after. Like, raccoons had to adapt, right? Animals are great at adapting. But the reason we have raccoons infesting our towns is because we destroyed their habitats. I actually don't know if it's 100% true. But feels so. What would happen to a virus if we destroyed all its habitats? It's a living organism. It would have nowhere to go but us. Also, and this is getting from Bashar, but this is my own interpretation of it. Also, our fear-based beliefs our fears, this sucks, watching the media telling you how much things suck, listening to the World Health Organization run by Bill Gates, who ran a monopoly and got sued by the government. Smart. Listening to government scientists that are spreading fear, that are put on pedestals because they're doctors of government, by celebrities who don't give a fuck and drink baby's blood. Like, this is who we listen to. Like, we listen to the lowest common denominator of society. Like, we're like, who is the freaking worst? Let's just go listen to the worst person. Like, oh, they were high in the government as a doctor and they work for the pharmaceutical industries. They gotta know what's up. Like, oh, the president or the governor. Like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna give them their information because they're a clear channel of consciousness. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, go to clear channels of consciousness, whoever that is. Yes, this is happening. Yes, there's a virus. Yes, it's spreading because we've been dicks to the environment and dicks to ourselves. So now everything feels like horribleness. But you have the opportunity to make the best of the horribleness, right? If you're stuck in a waiting room, make the best of it. Make the best of it. Make the best of what life gives you. That's your job. That's it. Follow your highest excitement that you can in the moment based on the options you have, right? You can't go fly to India if you have $40 in your bank account. Sorry, you can't follow the highest excitement. But you might watch videos about India. That might be your highest excitement. Or you might do an Indian dance. Or you might dance. Or you might play a video game. I don't know what your highest excitement is. It can't be wrong. You can't do it wrong. So try it out. And you'll always be okay. When you follow your highest excitement, I promise you, from my experience, you'll receive more money and you won't even care because you're following your highest excitement no matter what. Things will work out weirdly, like you'll get out of debt without even having to pay it. Like, things magically with synchronicities will come to you. I've received jobs just like that pay great, that I just do nothing at. And when I don't follow the excitement, I see that I get knocked down. And I love that because that's how the universe works. So what letter you send to the universe sends you a letter back, right? It's like, if you were mean to someone over and over again, they'd be mean back to you. Like, what do you there's this give and take, right? It's a mirroring game. This is really fun to talk about. Really excites me. And I want you to feel that excitement. I'm really just talking to myself. Just have fun with this consciousness game. It's a game of consciousness. It's a malleable dream. You're always gonna wake up from it. So, and you get to sleep to get out of it. That's sometimes the most exciting thing to do. I might take a nap today. It's like a good nap in the middle of the day, saying, I'm done with life. Just taking that nap, sleeping and feeling your body. It's so good. You know why people are so excited about sleep? Because they need a lot more of it. Especially now. Because many people have this virus and are not admitting it, and they're not resting, and they're pushing through it, and they're saying, oh, I have this other thing. You probably have it. If you think you do, you do. But who cares? You're going to heal. You'll be fine. What I also think that excites me is just health. Like, this is bringing a whole new divine health through me. And these are just my experiences. Just this new health. Oh, by the way, I cut my hair off, if you've watched my other videos, and it feels really good. But divine health. Everyone knows that I just do this in my hair the whole videos, but divine health has come to me because I Instacarted, and one of the great things I got out of that was watching how people eat. It's literally like, I'm just gonna get this poison, I'm gonna put it in the cart for you, I'm gonna get this poison and put it in the cart for you. Like, it was like Coronavirus isn't the problem. It's a symptom of a global problem. I see it as health, and I think this has been a thing anyway. But COVID-19 isn't killing anyone. It's the pre-existing condition they had that's killing them. One, it could be being freaking old. Like, I'm sorry if your grandma died. Like, I'd be in have compassion. But being old's a pre-existing condition. You're old, your body's frail. It's time to go. Like, it's sad. They get to transition to a new reality where they're more free than you are. So maybe that's why we grieve, because we're like, shit, they get to have way more fun than us. But that's a pre-existing. If you're fat, overweight, or not healthy, that's a pre-existing condition. Another pre-existing condition that I see a lot of people that really feel the COVID-19 that I feel energetically is being super freaking fear-based and stressed. So you can be the healthiest person on the planet eating good food, but if you're in fear, you're not going to get through it very well. If you're doing things based on fear and lack, that's going to hold the virus in your system longer. And this is just, right, less stressed people heal faster. That's why when you rest, when you're sick, you get better faster because you're lowering your stress response. You're not worried about, right? People are taking care of you. You don't have to worry about feeding yourself and doing things and blah, blah, blah. And then you recover. But if we can be that consciousness all the time, we can put up our own shields to the BS. Because as much as I want the ecological systems all be rebuilt so these viruses don't happen again, I doubt that's going to happen. I guess I can change that belief. It definitely could happen. I guess weed was legalized, and I never thought that would happen. So it definitely could happen. Yeah, you can rebuild the ecological systems. I guess we could do it, especially if in the places. But I have my doubts for that. Just because of what I've seen. Well, so that health, everything's a pre-existing condition, right? If you take care of yourself, you will be okay. Take advantage of the opportunities you have. Rest when you can. I love that rule. I watch animals, watch cats, dogs, watch a lot of things. Weird watcher. Sounds creepy. Promise. I'm only creepy in my head. I don't actually act out. But cats rest. They rest whenever they can. One thing I've been noticing that's exciting me too, this is a lot of information, is that animals don't sleep like us. Like, when we have been indoctrinated, not indoctrinated, I don't like that word. Let's change that word. We have been taught, we have learned a belief that we need to sleep in a certain way. And it's really not natural. Sometimes it is. But the way we sleep is not natural. We think things are consistent, right? So, having to sleep, like last night I was full moon, was up to like 3 a.m. and I'm awake. I might take a nap, but I feel pretty good. I feel kind of this trance state because I'm a little tired, but I'm actually excited about life. It's weird that you can get 3-4 hours of sleep, and it's really easy when you're following your excitement. It's really hard when you're doing shit you don't want to do. But that's just, part of our experience. And yeah, sleep in time. Like, don't time your sleep. If you meditate for 2 hours before you go to bed, you're getting a lot less sleep than if you don't. If you eat healthier and you exercise, you're getting a lot less sleep. So don't put this like, this is the amount of time you need to sleep and like to be healthy, because it's not really true. That's just like a general statement. There's people out there that sleep 5 hours that are fine, and they're usually the most healthy and conscious. And there's people that need 20 hours of sleep, and they're just not in a good place. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just knowing that it's not just about that. So don't get tied up in this time. Don't get tied up with time and how much time you need to do this and how much time you do that. There's people that meditate for 5 minutes that do more than meditate for 3 hours. It's all right. There's exercises you can do in 30 minutes. I do Beachbody stuff that really excites me because it works quickly, and I can go to a gym and walk on a treadmill for 4 hours and not get anything done. So don't measure things based on time. My guys have been saying this even with work. Don't measure how much hours you work. You will want to work 70 hours if you love your job, and you're going to want to work 10 hours if you hate it. So measuring how much hours you do something is not relative to anything. Stop measuring time. Stop looking at things based on time. It's a bad way to compare things. So instead, don't take time, take excitement and feeling. Like, measure things based on feeling. And if you do that and your excitement and what you feel instead of time and how much time you're spending, then you'll feel so much better. I've worked 20 hours a week, 10 hours a week, work, whatever that is. Sometimes I work more, but like, you can say this is work, but I don't count this, right? Because this is my excitement. I'm not, if you're counting the hours, if you're like, this is how much I'm doing, if you're looking at the clock, you're not doing the right thing, probably. And you need to start moving towards a thing where you don't look at the time. You want to get lost. You want to get lost outside of time. And you want to find things that do that. I like video games. For me, one of my highest excitements, because they make me lose time. It's a way of me using my brain in puzzles that I really like. And also, and there's not many spiritual teachers that say play video games. So I like being the nerdy spiritual teacher. I was like, dude, what the fuck you want? Fuck this, like, this is not the spiritual thing to do. This is not what you're supposed to do. La, 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 la. Like, that's mine. So you can, judge it if you want. But I love puzzles. I love puzzles, and games that are puzzles are great for me. They're great for my mind. They actually calm me because I use my brain in a puzzly way. So that's excitement. But what's the difference between work and play? Your perception of it. This is a channeling that I channeled from Buddha. So who knows who's Buddha? But he said he was Buddha. But anyways, the difference between play and work is your perception of it. You calling it that. So your comparison of this versus this, right? I'm at work, I'm at home. Your separation of you from you in certain situations is keeping you from being your truest self. So by just being your authentic self, no matter where you are, right? Like, I'm a nerdy person. I love D&D. So if I'm delivering food for my job, I'm going to listen to Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Now, so most of the time I'm not actually working. I'm just listening to my podcast while driving a car. And I love driving a car. God, I haven't drove a car in a while. I get to drive on a drive today for 30 minutes there and back. And I love just driving and being on the road with no traffic. It's one of my passions. That gets me aligned more. A silent drive for 12 hours has healed me more than any meditation can, because it's my thing. So do your thing. What you gonna do? I can't help you. What's time to do? I think I'm excited to go do something else. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following the passion of randomness that I'm doing. Comment, like, subscribe, throw it out there if you think this is cool. If you don't think it's cool, then why are you still here? Get out of here. Get out. Get out of my show. Get out. Get out. I still love you, but I'm doing this for me. It's fun. I love it. I love you. Who kisses people at the end of their videos? I can make it suit for that. I'm only kissing people that consensually want my kiss. I love you. See you in the next video.